Finding a good anime MMO is difficult. Tower Fantasy disappointed tens of millions of players when it released. Blue Protocol might follow suit as a direct result of Amazon potentially, keyword here, potentially, ruining the global release. So Worker kinda sucks, all of X Legends MMOs are either dead or shutting down. Maple Story and Dungeon Fighter Online really only appeal to a very niche audience. At this juncture, I'm sure many of you, much like me, were under the impression that all was kinda lost. And you know what, it very well still might be. I think the age of the MMO has kinda set sail. It's unlikely there will ever be another MMO that reaches the level of success that WoW has. But this might satiate the thirst that we have for something fun, different to Blue Protocol, different to many of the MMOs currently available. Or it might ultimately fail like many of its predecessors. Crystal of Atlan, the Magipunk Action MMORPG, an MMO that I actually covered 2 years ago. That also happened to disappear for 2 years and then reappeared just a few days ago with confirmation of a global launch and an upcoming global closed beta slated for December 2023, which I have a link to down in the description and the pinned comment for those of you that are interested. Before we dive into what Crystal of Atlan is, I want to take a moment here to thank my incredible patrons over on Patreon who allow for me to continue to cover MMOs like this every single week. You guys are amazing. Embark on a wondrous journey of magic and machinery. That's the tagline on their website. Atlan is an action MMO. It features full action combat, no tab target. They claim you'll be able to perform dodges in midair and strike enemies from all angles. You'll be able to equip over 10 unique skills to create your own fighting style. I'm actually a fan of larger hotbars like this, Blue Protocol, Atlan, Perfect New World. I played all 3 upcoming MMOs in the very limited hotbar. Allowing you 3 to 5 abilities really inhibits your freedom to react to different situations. There are going to be functional dungeons and raids, which are all multiplayer. Atlan will feature a number of different classes: the Scythe Guard, the Puppeteer, the Gunner, the Bounty Hunter, the Berserker, the Elementalist, the Musketeer, the Magi Blade, the Swordsman, the Blade Maiden, the Magister, and the Warlock. Looking at the classes, they all seem to possess their own distinct look and feel. I will note that while much of the game still remains unknown at present, it does seem as though the classes, much like Terrasland and Perfect New World, will be gender locked. While you no doubt also suspected that, given it seems as though each of the classes have their own lore, their own history, their own backstory, their own personality and character models. This might function similarly to Soul Worker, where classes have their own unique stories but feature the same main story. It adds depth to classes, but at the same time, it also limits what you can play and what your character can potentially look like based off of what aesthetic you're going for. I hated that Reaper was locked behind a little lolly class in Terra, or that Gunners could only be human or elf female. And now that we know what kind of game this is, let's take a moment here to look at real, actual gameplay. Not gameplay taken from a trailer, gameplay taken from the official Chinese version of the game. Now, before we go ahead and take a look at either of the trailers, I do want to note here that China really doesn't like me. They tend to copyright strike or copyright claim my videos as I post them. So if there's no audio going on in the background or from the video specifically, I do apologize. I had to remove that. I'm gonna risk using the audio from the trailer here just for this one specifically. Kind of because I want to hear what it sounds like. The character models look really good. She's very thick.
气化流行，一心成技，诸般念法，皆为我用。固步自封，就会被吞没，被规则和成见压制，失去自我。所以，我必须打破，必须改变。他们要我摒弃诅咒的力量。
This is a good trailer.
但
If this is the kind of world we get to explore, it is beautiful.
如何找寻真我？半步化界， 一灭天地，
She kind of reminds me of Yuan from Tower of Fantasy.
是我的道。这世界该重新认识我了。
Dude, that was a good trailer. That was a good trailer. Those were some good character models. I mean, that looked kind of cool. Here we have actual gameplay of the game out in the world.
蓝是一位擅长中近距离战斗的格斗家，在日复一日的修行和冒险中锻炼技巧，修炼气力，用一双铁拳向敌人发出沉重的攻击。在经过格斗家职业导师韦斯特的指点后，蓝对技巧的掌握更加得心应手。格斗家职业可以选择转职为云星，气化流行，一心成境，用天地元气摧毁对手；也可以转职为碎星，以拳问天，星辰尽碎，用一双铁拳击溃敌人。
I mean, I know that, I know some of you are already going to be thinking, this does kind of look a little bit like Tower of Fantasy and Genshin Impact. So the same class has multiple different elemental abilities, so that is cool. The combat looks really good.
合理使用气化流行，在合适时机使用普通攻击，能够中断气的消耗，并额外获得一定的气，能够使云星在法相状态保持更多时间，获得更持久的伤害加成。云星需要把握战场情况，合理使用两种法相状态下的技能，形成不同的连招组合，根据时机切换法相，来长时间内输出持续伤害，或者短时间内造成爆发伤害。 并且运用气化流行来延长法相持续时间，使敌人消散于天地万象之
I see
间。
the Q ultimate ability flashing.
如果说云星用天地正道，那么碎星便是以铁拳破局。碎星激活荣
Here's the other characters' abilities.
荣星灯斩，通过触发
Combat
荣星
style.
加断，为敌人带来终结一击。 碎星可以通过技能和极限闪避抽能荣星灯，使后续释放的技能消耗点亮的荣星灯，为技能附带荣星加断效果，造成更高的技能伤害。在碎星习得我身化技、
It looks pretty good.
豪情化焰等技
It
能
really
后，
does.
碎星可以通过主动释放、蓄满技能
Very fast, very fluid,
达到一定段数
very
时
impactful.
进入浴火状态。
That dummy doesn't know what's hitting him.
碎星的攻击将额外附带火属性伤害。 碎星的核心在于使用极限闪避。
I see her in different outfits though. I wonder if the gear changes depending on what you have equipped, or if there's just other outfits that you purchase, or.
并在其中触发浴火效果，获得额外的火属性增伤，以此循环让敌人皆粉碎于铁拳之下。不知道各位冒险者是喜欢气化流行的云星，还是以拳问天的碎星呢？想必各位冒险者心中早有答案。不内容啦，格斗家截图，我们一起。
Yeah, this looks pretty good. It really does. It doesn't look incredible. It doesn't look groundbreaking, but it looks pretty good. It looks as though Crystal of Atlan features a large world to explore. It feels very reminiscent of Tower of Fantasy, if I'm being entirely honest. There is a type of gacha present, but I'm uncertain what you'll obtain via that gacha. Maybe additional classes, maybe classes function like the Simulacrum that you'd get in Tower of Fantasy or the other classes you obtain in Kurzspell. Crystal of Atlan is also cross-platform compatible between PC and mobile platforms, which I know will be an immediate red flag for some players, but cross-platform games are becoming more and more prevalent in recent years, and they've seen quite a significant increase in terms of quality, especially gacha games that are built and designed for PC first or PC separately and are not just a direct port of a mobile game to the PC platform. Now, will Crystal of Atlan be the next big MMO? No, of course it won't be. But it could be a very fun, very entertaining anime MMO to play for those of us that enjoy anime MMOs. And that's really all I want. Oh, and for the game to not be censored. That too. Now, if you're not interested in Crystal of Atlan, then absolutely no problem. I have you covered with 2 different videos on screen right now that might be of interest to you.